the focus of the film, and I think for me the focus of the film was always on Solomon Northup and attempting to connect as much as I could to his journey and his character. Part of that was laid out in his biography, and so there were a lot of clues there to his very specific characteristics. But in some of the things that he endured, I was able to then sort of try and connect in any way that I could to how he may have felt in any given moment, and that was a real privilege in a way, to feel the sense of any kind of connection to what he went through, seeing as we were trying to do some of the sequences, as close as we could possibly do to what he describes in the book. So that felt, in a way, although emotional, also kind of connected to his experience, connected to him, which gave it a very different feeling for me.
Well, yeah, there were times when it was sort of emotionally sort of impactful, but I think what we had was a wonderful crew. I mean, the support of the crew from from the catering, I said before, from catering to makeup, wardroom, hair, camera department, sound department, gaffers, electricians, grips. I mean, all of us came together, and it was almost like it was our film. So with that kind of support, structure, that kind of camaraderie, that kind of family, everyone having a claim on the film, a stake in the film, it was such a supportive atmosphere that it allowed the actors to sort of, go there, as it were, to risk and to try. And to fail, of course, and to feel better, and to sort of go for it, whatever it is what they were trying to go for. There were no restrictions. There was no censorship, and that environment allowed that to happen. And I think it was beautiful. It was really a lot of love on that set. It was beautiful. If it was a hard day, everyone would go out together, everyone would eat together. It was wonderful. It was a great time making that movie. Well, if I was to make the book, that was pretty extreme. And the book is pretty extreme. But, my responsibility is this. Either I'm making a film about slavery or I'm not. And I decided that I wanted to make a film about slavery. And if you make a film about slavery, you have to understand why people were incarcerated in this particular way, were in bondage in this kind of way for 400 years. It was through mental and physical torture, in a way. And, it's a world event. It's a huge hole in the canon of film. Sometimes it's a huge hole in people's minds that they don't want to think about. But in order to bring it to the fore, people have to remember, why I, as an individual, am sitting here today. I'm here as an individual because some members of my family went through slavery. Fact. And it's to be respected.
Well, to me, I just thought when I read it, I was just stunned by it, and I just thought that this, as a piece, you're gonna have to just trust it, As an actor, you're just gonna have to just slip down the rabbit hole and see what happens, because there was just no other way of telling the story, and it's not like I wasn't aware of Steve and his films, you know what I mean? So I knew that he would go to all the places that you'd have to go to, and that's what I wanted, to tell this story. I just thought that that's the only way. I mean, it comes back to something we were talking about earlier. It's the only in a way you can't tell a story about slavery unless you tell it. That's it. And so you're going to have to, it's like, people talk about sort of violence and stuff, but it's sort of weird to me because it's a strange handicap if you can't talk about violence in a film about slavery. You're not going to do justice to any of the people involved. You're certainly not going to do justice to Solomon Northup and what he went through. It's like doing that about the Second World War or something, but you can't shoot anybody. It's not. You can't tell these stories without these major parts of what they are. And I read that, and I read into that. I read into the script that there was obviously going to be this kind of these sort of struggles that he went through, and I wanted to embrace that. I was excited about that.